Minecraft is one of the best games for building because our amazing community loves to share their creations with each other, especially sharing block by block tutorials for what they like to create or have created within the game so that they can see other people making their creations around their worlds. Following tutorials is pretty great. However, I find that tutorials only get you so far on the process of developing your own style and becoming a great builder yourself. Hey everybody, my name is Whip, and today I want to talk to you all about how to become a better builder in Minecraft, not only by following tutorials, but how to create any structure that you want within the game and how to develop your own build style so that you can keep building and doing whatever you want, whatever you love, and you can do it and feel great about it. We're going to be starting off here with the most important one, and that is practice makes perfect. Same as playing any sports or drawing, making music, playing an instrument, whatever else you do in your life. You get better at it by practicing and by just sticking through it and trying to learn what you can about it. For example, if you were a soccer player, you probably didn't score a goal in your very first game. You probably had to practice and earn that one. So maybe building is along the same way there. A great way to practice building is not to just stare at a blank canvas and wait for it to come to you. Maybe you look at something somebody else has created, close that picture down, and then try and create it yourself for memory, or try and create something like it that it might inspire you to make. The next thing, which honestly is what I use the absolute most when building things, is using real world examples or using art pieces or game art or some type of art that you can find online as a source of inspiration that you can use to transform and add these into your own Minecraft world. It's really, really fun to take a picture, take a model, or take something that you can find online and try and change that up and bring it into this blocky game called Minecraft. I just find that so interesting. I think it's a great challenge and it's a lot of fun to do. Just because you found an image online that you really, really liked and wanted to build the entire thing doesn't mean you have to build exactly that entire structure. A lot of things that I personally love doing in the game is actually taking different elements of different things that I find online and recreating them inside of my own image and adding them together. For example, here the gatehouse came from one castle somewhere in Europe. The tower that you see off to the left-hand side here came from something that a good friend of mine had built previously on one of his own castle builds that I wanted to rework and build into my own style here. And all these different elements of this structure, all different elements of different things that I was inspired by and brought them together here, and it feels like one cohesive unit instead of a bunch of different elements being added together. Just changing the palette and making everything here work together can really make it seem really, really sweet. Another thing that I find that really helps me out with building is creating a sort of a story to go behind everything that I'm doing. Instead of just being like, you know what, this village needs a blacksmith. We got to say, why do they need a blacksmith? Maybe they're a bunch of farmers and they need to have all their farming tools fixed up and repaired. So then we have to build a blacksmith off of that. And then obviously the blacksmith needs somewhere to live for him and his family. So then we have to build another house for them to live in. And then we have all these people in here. We have a bunch of tools. And like we said, they're farmers. And now we need to have maybe a granary or of some sorts, maybe a stables area where all of the mules and all the horses that they use for work live, and all of those different elements. If you start really thinking into it and thinking about what these people need to be able to live and what this kind of society that we're building inside of a village here needs to live to be able to survive. For example, we have these windmills here because we have the giant wheat fields over here. Then we have some small markets here for some farmers who might be selling some of their goods that they keep that aren't donated to the kingdom. And this is kind of how they make their living. Then we have all of the housing areas back here a little bit away so they have a quick access to where they work and all that good stuff. Just adding in all of those different elements to your builds to make it feel a lot more alive and make it there be a reason for every structure existing besides just the structure looking cool. Because if you give it a reason for existing, it's already going to look so much better. I know I've said this one a few times so far, but for me, following block by block tutorials probably isn't the best way to go to learning how to be your own builder, create your own style, and be able to completely do your own thing without having to rely on a certain YouTuber or something like that uploading a new video of their new house design. That's totally fine if you want to go that route, but it's probably not the best way to learn how to build. That being said, however, there is a great way to use those tutorial videos to your advantage. What you can do here is watch the tutorial video, go through the entire thing, then close it down, shut that whole thing down, and then move over into your Minecraft world. Use their tutorial videos for a sort of a design of something that you want to go off of, something that you think would be really, really cool to use moving forward, something where you really like the design. Remember those parts of it, then come throughout and build up the rest of the structure around that using your own stuff. One more thing on the whole tutorial side of things, if you really find something you love, I'm not saying don't build it. Definitely go ahead and build that and throw it inside of your own world. And maybe, for example, here, we have this shorter structure on this one. And I was like, you know, I really like that shape. I really like how we did that one, the style of it with that stone base. Maybe we bring it over here, make it a bit taller and widen it out, make it maybe so it's a bit larger and different. And this one looks completely different than that one as far as the actual shape of it, but you can tell the styles are here together, so maybe use tutorials more to find styles off of people, figuring out a way how they build their medieval structures and figuring out a way you can bring that into your own side of things. Another great way to do that is if you find the top of your roof or top of your structure, something like that, very flat, and you kind of are following a build and you're like, this one's kind of boring, maybe go ahead and throw a tower on top of that one. And maybe if they do throw a tower on there, you don't like it, you could come over here, cut that thing out and throw this one on top, and it would probably still look really cool. So take different parts of it, maybe don't use the entire tutorial, but use your own aspects inside of it that you would really enjoy as well, and then you can make it feel a lot more complete, and you'll probably end up a lot happier with the end result because you kind of made it up yourself there. You didn't rely on somebody else to do it. If you all are enjoying what you're seeing here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below. A lot of the builds that you have seen today are actually from my own survival world. So if you guys are interested in that type of stuff, interested in building and inside of survival Minecraft, definitely be sure to check out the channel here. But anyways, moving forwards from that, next thing I want to focus on is don't force anything. Don't force yourself into a bubble being like, all right, I have to work on this house today. I have to work on this new space station build that I'm working on. I have to work on this castle, whatever it may be. Don't force yourself to do that. Being able to take a break and like we're doing here, coming through and still making progress inside of our world by gathering up a bunch of resources sometimes is the way to go. And honestly, I find myself when I'm down here strip mining or gathering up a bunch of wood or whatever it might be doing, destroying a mesa biome, because we know we all do that, I find myself getting a lot of ideas on what I could be doing moving forward. And here, dodging the slime and weaving around him, I figured you can add a little bit of a mini game into it. So get as many mobs as you can in there and don't kill them and still try and just harvest everything like you're going throughout. But the big takeaway from this one is definitely just take the time to enjoy playing the game and don't get upset with yourself if you're not feeling creative for a day. If you're not feeling like you can push through something and get it all done, just take a break and come back tomorrow. Another great way to improve your building ability is to actually build the same thing multiple times. So if you build that same structure, same way of doing something, like here we have all these roof designs that are slightly different, but it's the same idea. We were able to come up with a lot of different ways of doing it, still achieving that same end result, just tweaking it just slightly so that it makes a lot more sense and it can be a lot more unique and cooler for whatever we're doing. For example, Good Times with Scar constantly says in his own builds that he does over on Hermitcraft, he typically builds them 3 to 4 times before he actually builds it in the survival world. Now, I, for one, consistently struggle with building boats. So what I love to do is starting that boat design here inside of a creative world until I can figure out the shape of the hull, and then we can turn that into something inside of our survival world. And looking at that same boat with our finished copy here inside of the survival world, you can see that we use the same exact shape and general guidelines working on the hull there. We didn't build the complete thing inside of the survival world. Well, at least that rendition of it. I did build it 2 times and absolutely hated it and tore them down, and then was able to figure out that shape, that final shape that we're looking at there before we brought it over into the world here. But if we just built it straight away inside of our survival world, I can tell you for sure the chance of me rebuilding that thing after I realized I didn't like it was very slim. So creative is great for not wanting to TNT and destroy everything that you have inside of your survival world, because it takes a bit more time to build things there, let's be honest. If you consistently find yourself struggling with breaking away from building that square or rectangular shape, a great way to do that and mix things up here is one is to force your roads to not be straight exact lines, so you have to build alongside with the roads. But another thing is actually to work with organic shapes like trees or giant mushrooms or just giant flowers or whatever you might want to do. Like a great thing that I actually did once in a while, way long ago, is I took all of the flowers that you have in Minecraft and turn them into giant organics. So it really helps you figure out the straight lines and the curves and everything that you're going to want to use using there. And then that can really help you really figure out how you want to do your angles and how you want to do things that don't look really wonky. Because sometimes, I'm sure we're all aware of this one, when we're working on angles and it can tend to look just a little off, I guess you could say. Just not quite right on there. So practicing with organics is a great way to narrow that one down. I will be honest though, it's a blessing and a curse, because after you figure out how to do organics and you do only those for a while to learn the size of doing them, building a square structure that doesn't look just flat and boring is kind of hard to do, to be honest. Building for sure is a lot of fun. It's absolutely my favorite thing to do in the game, but after you spend so many hours building inside of your own current projects, it's very easy to get burnt out. And oh man, I can tell you all about that one. One thing that I have found that absolutely helps me so much with staying motivated and actually growing my ability as a builder is joining in on build competitions. There's some great competition websites that are going weekly where you can join on a new build competition, like a pirate build or maybe like a ninja build or maybe something futuristic, space stations, whatever it might be. There's always build competitions going all over the place. A few off the top of my head that I can think of is if you head over to the Minecraft subreddit, there's always a pinned tweet up at the top that you can join in on for whatever competition's going on. They'll show the winners of last week's competition, give you some details about this week's competition, and you can join in on there. Experiencing those new ways of building, those new styles, is a great way to grow yourself as a builder and really trying to challenge yourself, because that's honestly probably the best way to improve yourself. Beyond the Reddit one though, there are a lot of ones over on the Planet Minecraft page. I know an old website that used to be where all of the Minecrafters would go and post their super cool builds. You can still see some great ones over there, but the great part about that is they're constantly doing the competition. So if you want to check that stuff out, be sure to check that one out as well. I'm going to be leaving you all with one final tip for today's episode. If you all are finding that your build here is a little too boring, as an old great Minecraft creator used to say, just add some bushes. And that is going to have to do it for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you have any other tips or tricks or things that you find extremely useful, be sure to help the community out by throwing those down in the comments below. Thank you all again so much for watching today's episode. If you all did enjoy, please sure to hit that like button down below. It really helps me out with growing up this whole channel here and all that good stuff. Hit that subscribe button if you're just checking it out for the first time, and I will catch you on the flip side.